The Influence of Social Interaction and Physical Health on the Association Between Hearing and Depression with Age and Gender. Keidser, Mark Seeto, first published July 28, 2017. Research article. DOI.org web link. Article information. Open Access Creative Commons Attribution, Non-Commercial 3.0 License. Article information. Volume 21. Article first published online, July 28, 2017, issue published, January 1, 2017. Received, June 08, 2016, revisions received, November 01, 2016, accepted, November 01, 2016. Keidser 1, Mark Seeto 1 National Acoustic Laboratories and the Hearing CRC, Macquarie University, New South Wales, Australia. Corresponding author, Keidser, National Acoustic Laboratories, Level 5, 16 University Avenue, Macquarie University, New South Wales 2109, Australia. Email, get.keidser@nal.gov.au. This article is distributed under the terms of the Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial 3.0 license, www.creativecommons.org web link, which permits non-commercial use, reproduction and distribution of the work without further permission provided the original work is attributed as specified on the Sage and Open Access pages, us.sagepub.com web link. Abstract. Recent epidemiological data suggest the relation between hearing difficulty and depression is more evident in younger and middle-aged populations than in older adults. There are also suggestions that the relation may be more evident in specific subgroups, that is, other factors may influence a relationship between hearing and depression in different subgroups. Using cross-sectional data from the UK Biobank on 134,357 community-dwelling people and structural equation modeling, this study examined the potential mediating influence of social isolation and unemployment and the confounding influence of physical illness and cardiovascular conditions on the relation between a latent hearing variable and both a latent depressive episodes variable and a latent depressive symptoms variable. The models were stratified by age, 40s, 50s, and 60s, and gender and further controlled for physical illness and professional support in associations involving social isolation and unemployment. The latent hearing variable was primarily defined by reported hearing difficulty in noise. For all subgroups, poor hearing was significantly related to both more depressive episodes and more depressive symptoms. In all models, the direct and generally small association exceeded the indirect associations via physical health and social interaction. Significant, depressive episodes, and near significant, depressive symptoms, higher direct associations were estimated for males in their 40s and 50s than for males in their 60s. There was at each age group no significant difference in estimated associations across gender. Irrespective of the temporal order of variables, findings suggest that audiological services should facilitate psychosocial counselling. Keywords: hearing, depression, epidemiology, UK Biobank, social isolation, cardiovascular disease, unemployment, physical health. A large body of research has demonstrated that poor functional hearing is associated with poor mental health when considering conditions such as depression and emotional distress. For example, Carabellis et al., 1993, Dalton et al., 2003, Gopinath et al., 2012, Kramer, Kaplan, Kuick, and Deeg, 2002, Seeto et al., 2010, Strawbridge, Wahagan, Shima, and Kaplan, 2000. The mechanism underpinning this association is generally believed to be via social isolation. That is, the hearing problem causes communication difficulties, which make social interaction challenging, resulting in withdrawal from social engagements and hence a feeling of loneliness and depression. Strawbridge et al., 2000, Weinstein and Vintry, 1982. Some recent studies have observed that the association between poor hearing and poor mental health is greater for younger and middle-aged persons than for older populations. For example, in Tams's 2004 study, the association between measured hearing loss and self-reported symptoms on mental health, including anxiety, depression, self-esteem, and well-being, satisfaction with life, was investigated separately for men and women aged between 20 and 44 years, between 45 and 64 years, and over 65 years. Overall, the study found that a severe low-frequency hearing loss was more strongly associated with the mental health variables among the young and middle-aged participants than among the elderly. Keidser, Seeto, Rudner, Haig, and Ronberg, 2015, reported greater associations between functional hearing and two multifactorial variables related to depression among younger participants of a large cohort of 40 to 70 years old. Nightingale et al. 2009, further reported differences in associations between functional hearing and psychosocial health factors in each age group. While poor hearing was associated with loneliness among the youngest participants, 18 to 29 years, and there was no significant association between hearing and various psychosocial health factors among the oldest participants, 60 to 70 years, poor hearing predicted higher levels of distress, depression, anxiety, and self-efficacy among participants in their 40s. In an elderly cohort, 63 to 93 years, Pronk et al. 2011, found that the relation between hearing and loneliness varied within specific subgroups. For example, self-reported hearing difficulty related significantly to social loneliness for those with medium, high income, those living with a partner in the household, and those not using hearing aids. Significant adverse relations between hearing difficulty and emotional loneliness were observed for men, those without cardiovascular conditions, those living with a partner in the household, and non-hearing aid users. Consistent with previous studies, no significant association was seen between hearing and depression in this elderly population. The variation in associations across such subgroups would also suggest that different factors may mediate, carry, or confound, distort, an association between hearing difficulty and mental health variables between age and gender groups. To our knowledge, this has not previously been directly investigated. The onset of hearing loss can occur at any time during a lifespan but is more common in older adults. Epidemiological studies demonstrate a notable increase in the prevalence of hearing problems from about 55 years of age. Agrawal, Blatz, and Naparko, 2008, Cruikshanks et al., 1998, Dawes et al., 2014. Although hearing problems are less prevalent in younger and middle-aged people, communication difficulties could have more severe effects in this population, as they could affect the ability to find and maintain meaningful work. For example, Hogan, O'Loughlin, Davis, and Kindig, 2009, and to interact effectively with family members and friends. For example, Hallberg, 1996, Curran Cowie, 1997, emphasizing the sense of loneliness and social isolation. Even in a sample of the general population, Hawthorne, 2008, found a higher proportion of socially isolated cases among younger, 15 to 30 years, as compared with older, 60 years, participants. Social interactions are also important for the general well-being of older hearing-impaired adults, but this population may be more accepting of their hearing loss by associating it with being a natural part of the aging process. Nightingale, Festing, and Kramer, 2012, Dams, 2004, and hence of the consequences of experiencing communication difficulties. With hearing impairment being more prevalent in the older population, the associated problems are possibly also better recognized and accepted among peers. Therefore, social isolation and related factors such as unemployment could be speculated to be factors that more likely mediate the association between hearing problems and depression among younger and middle-aged than older people. Keidser et al. 2015, showed that people who reported higher levels of depression were more likely to have sought professional help for their condition. It is uncertain whether those who are being professionally treated for their condition are better or worse equipped to socialize and stay in employment than those who have not sought help. In either case, professional support with depression may confound an association between social isolation, unemployment and depression, and ideally should be controlled for. The etiology of hearing loss generally varies between younger and older populations. While congenital hearing loss is mostly due to genetic problems, acquired hearing loss is mainly the result of an age-related degeneration of the auditory system, presbycusis, a disease of the ear, or noise exposure. Hogan, Phillips, Brumby, Williams, and Mercer-Grant, 2015. Presbycusis may be accelerated by such factors as lifestyle, for example, smoking, and physical disorders, for example, cardiovascular diseases and diabetes. Cruikshanks et al., 1998, Franson et al., 2008, Gates, Cobb, D'Agostino, and Wolf, 1993, Kakarlaputi, Sawyer, and Stecker, 2003. When the hearing loss is related to other chronic disorders, the associated health problems may affect the person's mental health more than the hearing problems. As comorbidity is more common in old age, physical health problems could be speculated to be a factor that more likely confounds an association between hearing problems and depression in the older population. A hypothesis that poor hearing is associated with cardiovascular diseases is supported by data from various epidemiological studies, for example, Helsner et al., 2011, Liu et al., 2007, Tor et al., 2005. The mechanism behind the association is suggested to be via micro or macrovascular pathology that reduces the blood supply to the cochlea. In brief, poor blood supply to the cochlea disrupts the chemical balance of the inner ear fluid, which affects the electrical activity of the hair cells, resulting in poor hearing sensitivity. The association has been reported both in a middle-aged, 40 to 59-year-old, population, Rosen and Olin, 1965, and in older adults, 65 years, Rubenstein, Hildesheimer, Zohar, and Chilerovitz, 1977, and thus cardiovascular diseases could be a confounding factor across a wide age range. Using data from the UK Biobank and structural equation modeling, SEM, a technique for analyzing theoretical models of how different variables are related to each other, this study explores the potential mediating and confounding influences of such factors as social isolation, unemployment, cardiovascular conditions, and physical illness on the direct association between a latent hearing difficulty variable and latent depressive episodes and latent depressive symptoms variables among people in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. The study further compares the strength of the associations between females and males in each age group,